Grand day from above, below, middle, within, without, the yin, the yang, and the between. So I've been feeling, I've been observing, I've been observing a lot of the feminine warfare. So the most observation comes from within, right? You're observing whatever's happening externally from within, and you get to observe that feeling that you have from within as well, of your own, as well as the collective, as well as the reflection from your inner world that you see on the external as well. And I felt that this is a really vital one, because it is literally all about the feminine energy in order for all of this to even balance out. We have to look at our own imbalances, and that is from the moment that you could remember. So childhood, and then it's important to connect with the elder feminine in our lives, whether it's family or close friends, to gather up a little bit of their experience prior to you arriving, and then during the time when you were still in infant stages, to gather this information, and when I say information, I mean gather what they're feeling, gather the energy even beyond their words, gather the energy that you pick up from their eyes, the story. The eye will tell you the story more than the lips, more than the voice sometimes, because remember, it is coming from here. So even when an individual isn't necessarily tapped in, right, in a conscious level where they could speak of it, they could be feeling it. And there's times we are always feeling it. We just don't know how to identify it yet, especially those that are still rising, to beyond the veil. So that is how we learn. That is how our energies kind of like intertwine. And then okay, so you remember in the Avatar movie, in the evening they would all sit there and then line up and connect, right? Like this beautiful source energy that one can't really describe in words. One can't describe the deepest things these days in words. So, but we're doing good. We're doing our best. So we pick up when we are around them. We pick up from the energies that you're pretty much hearing behind the verbal voice. So it's the sound that you're tuning into from the voice, from the lips, from the words. And then you have their body posture, right? Forgive me if I'm saying this wrong. So I'm so glad now that English was not my best language, because, and now I get it. I couldn't understand why some things were said backwards, why there's all these low vibrational phrases that we take no accountability for. It's like, oh, it's okay to say this. It's anyway. Let me get off that tangent. Back to the feminine energy, and so because the voice, remember, the voice being the throat chakra, when an individual is expressing or playing out their role at that moment the most passionately, that is when you can pick up. And it's not necessarily from, again, from the words that they're saying, but the sound, the body posture. What is the story behind the story that they're telling you? And you gather up this just to kind of like guide you into your own decoding and deprogramming and all of that from everything that we've had to endure all this time. So I say that because at the times that we're in right now, we don't, it's really a challenge, whether you're on a spiritual level or you're not. It's such a challenge to connect with another feminine energy, those that you have had history with, family members first, or maybe good friends that you grew up with or whatever. It's just difficult to connect deeply because a lot haven't quite dived deeper into themselves. And I'm trying to say this in a way where it's not it doesn't even appear offensive, because that is not the intention at all. This is truly, if one is to rise, we all are to rise. We all are to share that. So that is simply what I'm here for. So going back to that, to the feminine energy, if one hasn't dived deep enough, they will not be able to, two things, they won't be able to go to the root of the situation or of things that needs to be worked out, right? Between family members and friends. And if you on the other side, being the spiritual one, the one that's like ready to really pull out the shadow work or all that jazz that we've created ourselves just so a story can play out. Even if you're coming from that end and you try to do that, they're just not prepared for that. It's like a shock. It's like, no, I it's just very difficult for them. It's difficult for us, like if we're on the spiritual, trying to get to the roots of things, let alone someone who hasn't quite dived deep enough into themselves. So that said, in the meantime, if we, instead of like creating more war on the feminine energy, and when I say this, I mean to the masculine as well, if we are to create, at this moment right now, we all need to hold space. I'll come back to the finger because you have water, earth, space, air, fire. So space and air, the reason why I bring this up is because right now we all, not only do we need to, it's beyond respect, we need to honor and support one another's individual process, individual growth, individual time to isolate themselves for that, to have that self connection, that deep dive. And it's critical for everyone's growth, for everyone's yin-volution, yang-volution. These days I'm just creating my own English on top of the English because, I'm done with the spells. And if there's going to be any spells, it's going to be the one that I cast upon self. So, that said, because for some reason I also, okay, now I'm going on another tangent, but I tend to get a lot of like requests or strange comments from like some really weird pages that, kind of have you questioning, like, no, I understand that there is magic, but at this moment, in the present moment, there is nothing but higher magic going around. And anything low, anything lower than what one vibrates will dissolve. It will dissolve. So let that be known to, anyone that thinks that they're still in that realm. You might still be in that realm, but you cannot touch another that is elevating at a higher level. So, because been there, done that. I believe all of us, those that have not dived deep enough are still in those kind of spells. So that is why I'm here for, to help, to elevate, to, for everyone's rising. And if I could get back to the feminine, because that is so critical right now. The feminine, yes, everyone creates space. Masculine, please create space for the feminine. Feminine to feminine, listen, the very deepest awareness of self, honor you, can guide you, can watch you, can learn from you, can see you, can feel you in the deepest way. And there is nothing but compassion. The only time that there's any yabbity yabby is when, I'm out in the matrix and it's, it's chaos. It's chaos. So that is the only time that we must play that role to simply protect our spirit. But other than beyond that, the true essence of what you see at this moment is just simply honor every divine feminine, every one of those that are ready, that are just, need that calling and need to know that it's time to dive in, time to dive inwards, forget what everyone is doing. I want to say something really quick, because with, as far as whole two things: external image of looks and status, and relationship to relationship, right? Like who is better than who. And I mean, it's just pretty much all illusion based, all some kind of facade, and wrong. Like, I'm trying to describe this, it's all an illusion on how the projection is as a collective. And all I can say right now is just, we all get out of each other's way and just continue to dive deep and come from that place, because that is the place that we're going to realize all this time. Why do we do that? And I'll tell you, every single feminine that I've come across, that whether it's family member, friends, teachers, just, neighbors, whatever, there's always something, especially the ones that I have been close to the longest, whether it was in childhood or teenage years now. I've always gathered the things, the qualities that I saw in you, the beauty that I saw in you, you all played a role. You've all been an influence. And just because things went wrong, or whether you feel I was wrong, you were right, whatever the case is, it truly doesn't matter. truly doesn't matter in a sense, really, because matter is ego. Matter is where the ego steps in and starts thinking, And in order to really see things from this projection, in order to really see that, you have to clear out the matter. You have to clear out that it's an illusion. Sweep, clean the house from within. Okay, do that. And then come back, slowly zoom in and see things for purely what they are, the essence, the very reason why you liked one another in the first place, why you connected with one another in the first place, or why you have this connection as mother and daughter, or sister, whatever it is. Like, just, see that essence. If you've ever fasted, usually around your third, fourth, fifth day, once you've released a lot of the mess, and you start to slowly, scrape yourself from that low, you start to gain such a deep sense of compassion. Literally, everyone you see, everyone who's ever you thought, harmed you or whatever it was, you gain such compassion at that moment. And I don't know if that's the same feeling that elderlies may feel, like, right, just before they're transitioning out. Perhaps that's the kind of feeling that they get. It is, or someone who's taking off, taking off. We're always taking off to higher places because we've had an experience, and now it's trying to have a better experience. So that's why I have to maneuver around the English language. But going back to that, where am I? Every single one of you have been incredible. And I'll give you a short example before I finish this, because this is something we all got to do. So if this video inspires you in any kind of way to share, however you share, whether it's through using your throat chakra, whether it's through using the vision, okay? While you're passionate and intimate, in other words, being in the moment, making something, that's a great time to capture and post, and just perhaps just add a short message about the feminine energy and how unique we are and how special we are, and as a collective, you could always add little things into what you're doing at that moment, to share, to kind of pass on the message. But you all have, I took the best part that I felt. I took the best part from you and utilized that in me. Once I begin to awaken, once I begin to dive deep into self, I knew exactly what your purpose, not your purpose to you or to the earth, right? But the purpose that you played in my life. And so I gather that all those things, and as I'm already in there, that is actually when I could see it. That is when I could go, oh yeah, and gather it all in, and then realize that that's how I felt in the first place, the entire time, actually. Once family and people start to connect and get closer, it's like what tends to happen is so many matrix related things, spells, situations, conditions, programs, all that is here. It is like a whip over the essence of the reason that we met in the first place, or that we connected in the first place. So it covers all that up. It covers all the special things more and more and more and more. And then boom, one day, boom, everybody's like And it's hard to connect because we continue to carry our own individual matter. We haven't done the work to release at least a good portion of those matters to be able to see and have a true connection. And true connections should be where we can go deep, deep into the roots of things, deep into all that is necessary. So, in other words, I am all ears into all that you have to say, all of the deepest. And because you've done the inner work, now it's worth sitting and having this deep connection. So, and vice versa. And once that is done, you will realize that all of this experience, if we're talking about how the feminine need to come together and unite and this and that, we have to do it first, within ourselves. And as you can see, I've played this out already. This is why I'm able to deliver this, and a lot of you will be able to resonate. This should hit deep. My little guy is here. It should hit deep. It should tell you that we are essence of creativity, and no matter what, the alchemist is the gold behind all the rust, the density, the histories, the memories, the pictures, the programming thoughts based on our projections on one another. Do you see that this is all literally an illusion? So I hope, I will try to see if I can continue on with this message. I just go along as I, whatever comes at the moment is what I share. But I felt called to do that because I feel the tension, I experience the tension between the feminine energy. And so I'm simply... You okay, buddy? Yeah. I'm simply here to encourage you to dive deep into yourselves, and forget about all of the conditions, all of the programming, release all those things. That is what the self-work is about. It's about diving deep and being able to go past all those. That is the cleanup. Now everybody's coughing. That means it's probably time to go. But you see our essence, right? We're made to do it all. We're made to now stop this video and, answer the calling to the little guys. So we are divine. We are beautiful. I will see you soon. Just remember, for us to more and more allow one another to dive deep and feel the essence in ourselves so we could feel it within one another. And that is how we change the frequency. That is how all of this stuff will get better. And, no longer will we have to communicate and try so hard to keep everything together. So much love. Cease.